So as part of the Digital Signalling Master Plan, we'll be migrating the GB railway network from one that's conventionally signalled to one that's signalled using digital signalling. The National ETCS Test Lab is a key tool for us in managing the progressive rollout of ETCS. We're going to need to expand the number of suppliers that we use to deploy ETCS trackside and onboard. And what's really key is that we have operational consistency across GB in the way that we apply ETCS. So whether you're driving a train in the north of the country, whether you're driving a train in the south of the country, whichever supplier's equipment that you're using, ETCS works fundamentally in the same way. We've needed a mechanism, as we've expanded the number of suppliers that operate using ETCS, to test and validate that each of those suppliers' products works in a way that we expect. And that's where NetLab comes in, that's where the National ETCS Test Lab comes in, is allowing us to demonstrate that each of these products works individually and together against the reference design. It's a facility that's run by AtkinsRéalis on Network Rail's behalf. And it allows us to take a supplier's product, a trackside product or onboard product, and to test that against a series of operational test scenarios that Network Rail's developed. And it can also allow us to bring supplier A's trackside together with supplier B's onboard, for example, or vice versa, to test that those things work together as we'd expect them to.
So the main purpose of the lab is to facilitate the testing of European vital computers and radio block centres to component or system level. To this end, the lab is split into three sections. There's the EVC test bench, the RBC test bench, and a collection of components known as the orchestrator that facilitates the simulation and monitors the connections between both sides. The lab is fitted with a suite of automation tools to make the testing process quicker and more efficient. There's the robot driver, which interacts with the driver-machine interface to increase accuracy and greater speed. Each of these systems are also fitted with a semi-automatic validation tool that again reduces human error and increases the reliability of results. So for each test campaign, we begin by defining a test specification. From this, we design a virtual railway network, or what's known as a test yard. And this is just as well defined as the real thing, with the cant and gradients of the track, the positions of signals, balises, tunnels, viaducts, all fully simulated. So we create the individual test scenarios which run the simulated traffic. We put them into one big collection that's then known as the test campaign, and we can run these 24/7 with little human intervention. Following the completion of a scenario, we collect the log files from the two sides of the lab. These are then injected into our semi-automatic validation tool, and the results compared against the specification. So the lab is fitted with a golden reference EVC and RBC with the capability to simulate even more. These behave like real equipment and allow us to debug test scenarios and ensure we have a realistic interaction between the unit under test and the simulation. To improve the process of integrating suppliers' equipment with the laboratory, we do have the capability to either have the equipment physically present here in Egham, or it can be kept at a manufacturer's facility connecting via the internet and a local bridgehead. So the configurable nature of the lab means it could be used for soak test type duties, moving the train through the same environment repeatedly, checking for any discrepancies.
So the National ETCS Test Lab is testing against the UK requirements and the European requirements. And it's a fundamental part of the evidence for building certainty that it's safe to use for passengers. So its independence is key, its automation is key. Having our automated facility that will run 24/7 is a quicker, cheaper way of doing that testing. We have two labs. We have the UK lab and we have a hot backup lab in Europe. The European lab already has full ISO accreditation, and we're in the process of going through audits to get that in the UK. That will make it the UK's only accredited lab. The UK lab tests the UK specific ETCS requirements on top of the European standards. And this is something that we're well practiced at, and our partners are, of going around to different countries, understanding their unique requirements and then testing those.
This is just a vital tool for the industry to use to really show that we've got that operational consistency in the deployment of ETCS across GB. It's a single facility where we're able to do a whole series of testing to trackside and onboard products that we need to, and it's been specifically designed for this purpose.
The National ETCS Test Lab is open and available to book. This includes signalling OEMs, ETCS programs, train and rolling stock operating companies, including Heritage and Charter. We'd be delighted to welcome you to the lab to understand how we can work together to meet your current and future needs.